It was my first house. Yeah, it was a rental. And it was old. But hey, my name was on the lease. And that's all that mattered to my 22-year-old self. The landlord was my best friend's dad. He'd known me for a long time, so instead of coming to show the house, he just sent the key my way. It was dark when we went to look at the house, and since no one lived there, the power was off. Aided by the small flashlight I used to verify check amounts when I delivered pizza and the glow of my dim phone screen, my future roommate and I set off to check it out. Upon opening the front door, the air felt heavy, ominous really. But I chalked it up to humid days and no airflow. A little foyer with a living area to the right, a bedroom directly in front, and a dining room to the left. The opposite corner of the dining room held a door to the kitchen and the opening to the hallway. My first experience with the oddities of the house happened as soon as I stepped into the hall. To the right was a wall. To the left, a hallway, a bathroom on the opposite hall, and a bedroom at the end. We inspected the bedroom. It was small, and you could tell it had been added on once upon a time when somebody had found themselves needing a room for a happy little addition. I thought Randall said this was a 3-bedroom, I whispered. He did. Baffled, we walked to the house, only counting 2 bedrooms. Before we left, I decided to use the bathroom. I startled when I stepped into the hall. Where the empty wall had been on the right, there was now a door. We must have missed it, Andy said as we entered the huge master bedroom. It didn't have a bathroom. The house was too old for that. But the room itself could have easily held my California king 3 times over. Dibs, I said. Creepy room or not, I was not paying 80% of the rent, and I didn't want to have to fold my bed in half to either of the other 2 rooms. So we moved in, had a huge housewarming party, or I guess housewarming week would be more accurate. The first night I went to bed sober is the first time I heard it. Piano music. No song I knew, just beautiful music playing on the edge of my hearing. It lulled me to sleep. The dream started immediately. A little boy of about 10, 11, or 12 stood in front of a crowd of silhouettes. He didn't speak. He just stood there. The dream lasted all night. Weeks went by. The same music, the same dream. Weird things started happening around the house. The fridge would be left open. Cigarette smoke lingered in the hallway. The water was constantly turned on in the bathroom sink. Little things that people easily pass off as the result of an inconsiderate roommate. Each night, the same music, the same dream. The little boy, closer and closer, and the silhouettes becoming a little more like fuzzy people in the background of an old photo. My 2 aunts were somewhat of an unofficial paranormal investigation group. They had the cameras, the audio recorders, EMP measurements, the whole 9 yards. When they heard about my dream and the weird goings-on, they decided that they needed to set up cameras. They pointed one from the living room to the hallway, one from the dining room to the kitchen, and one on the kitchen table, facing the fridge. Then they kicked everyone out for the whole night. We watched the footage first thing in the morning. The first noteworthy event happened at 3 a.m., the witching hour. The living room camera spun a few times and flew from its table. "My cat is a jerk," I announced to break the tension after everyone jumped 3 feet away from the 32-inch tube TV we were all huddled around. The kitchen camera caught my porch light turning on, brightening to supernova levels, and then dimming back down again before switching off. The dining room camera was the last one that we inspected. It showed my cat taking a bath on my dining room table, then curling up to sleep on the doily after she knocked my flowers over. Soon after, Andy moved out. I stayed at my mom's for a week, but I learned that I could no longer sleep without that music to carry me to slumber. The first night back, I smiled as I heard the music start and fell asleep almost instantly. He's angry. They're all angry. They're not angry at me, but they're all so angry. "What do you want from me?" I shouted myself awake. As if in an immediate reply, glass started shattering in the kitchen. It sounded as if someone took every one of my 8 for $10 Walmart glasses and started throwing them to the ground, 2 or 3 at a time. Terrified, but not having anyone to call out to, I huddled under my blanket and waited sleeplessly. The sun shone brightly in my east-facing kitchen window, illuminating my spotless floor. The dream stopped, but the music still played. A month later, and I'm having a party. Everyone's on my front porch, smoking and drinking. I get knocked back a little and drunkenly tumble into my flower bed. I call my aunts the next day, tell them one thing: bring shovels. We dug up the buried cellar doors. I was a little worried Randall would be upset that I destroyed some landscaping, but worst case scenario, I had to replant the ancient rose bush. A pry bar and a sledgehammer later, and we opened the doors to the smell of death and decay. Police said there were 16 bodies, including one of an 11-year-old boy.